A rare, quiet afternoon. The sun warmed the porch, and for a moment everything was perfect. Animal.Cmoves, the sharp-eyed border collie, lay with his head on his paws, a faint brown patch over one eye giving him a rakish look. Beside him, Sonny, the solid white staffy, was dozing, his muscles completely relaxed. It was the kind of peace they rarely got to enjoy, a stillness that felt turned. But peace for them was always fleeting. It started subtly. A shimmer in the air, like heat haze on a summer road, but this was different. It distorted the edges of the trees, making the world look like a reflection in a disturbed pond. Animal.Cmoves' ears twitched. He lifted his head, his intelligent gaze fixed on the anomaly. Sonny, sensing the shift in his friend's posture, opened one eye. The ripple wasn't just a visual trick. A low hum, almost below the threshold of hearing, vibrated through the ground. The tranquility was shattered. The single ripple multiplied, intensifying into a swarm of shimmering, unstable waves of energy. They pulsed with an sickly, unnatural light, moving erratically through the air like a flock of digital birds gone haywire. These were glitch waves, and they carried a sense of wrongness, of a tear in the fabric of their reality. Animal.Cmoves was on his feet now, a low growl rumbling in his chest. His collar, the source of his power, began to glow with a steady blue light. Sonny stood beside him, a solid wall of white muscle, his own energy beginning to coalesce. Then, from the heart of the chaotic glitch storm, a familiar darkness began to take shape. It was the shadow, the persistent, malevolent entity that had haunted Sonny for so long. But this time it was different. It was larger, more defined. Its form seething with an aggressive energy that made the air turn cold, and it wasn't alone. Swirling around its base like a dark tide were smaller, faster shadows, darting and skittering with predatory intent. The main shadow loomed, its presence a suffocating weight, its new army a clear and present danger. This wasn't just a haunting anymore. This was an invasion. There was no time for a plan, only instinct and trust. Animal.Cmoves, his enhanced mind already processing the threat vectors, didn't hesitate. He launched forward, his movements a blur of black and white. His collar sparked, and he unleashed precise, crackling bursts of blue electricity, each one striking a glitch wave dead center. The waves imploded with a sound like shattering glass, their unnatural light extinguished. At the same time, Sonny met the charge of the smaller shadows. He became a beacon, a blinding flare of pure white. Light erupting from his body, the light acted as both a shield and a weapon, deflecting the shadowy tendrils and forcing the smaller entities back with sheer radiant power. The opening salvo had been fired, the battle had begun. Animal.Cmoves was a master of motion, a living current of energy and intellect. He weaved through the remaining glitch waves, his paws barely seeming to touch the ground. His mind, faster than any computer, identified the patterns in their chaotic flight, predicting their jinx. And jukes, he wasn't just destroying them. He was dismantling them. A quick zap to a trailing edge caused one to unravel. A sustained burst to the core of another made it collapse in on itself. He was an artist of electrical combat, painting the air with controlled destruction. Meanwhile, Sonny was locked in a furious dance with the swarming small shadows. They were agile, relentless, trying to flank him, to overwhelm him with sheer numbers. But Sonny was a fortress of light. He spun, he lunged, he parried their attacks with solid walls of brilliance. His light flared with his every move, scorching the ground where the shadows had been, turning their aggressive lunges into puffs of dissipating smoke. He was a bastion, a radiant guardian holding the line, ensuring the smaller threats couldn't reach his partner. The air crackled with blue energy and blazed with white light, a storm of power against a tide of darkness. Slowly but surely, their coordinated assault turned the tide. Animal.Cmoves, with his methodical and precise attacks, cleared the last of the glitch waves. The unnatural shimmer in the air vanished, the low hum silenced. The battlefield was becoming clearer. Sonny, with a final, massive pulse of light, completely dispersed the last of the protective small shadows. They evaporated like mistin. The morning sun, their frenzied attack broken. A path was now clear. The swarm was gone, the distractions eliminated. All that was left was the source, the prime threat, standing alone and exposed in the sudden, eerie silence. Now it was just them and the giant shadow. It loomed over them, unprotected and enraged. The air grew heavy, thick with its silent fury. All of its power was now focused, a palpable aura of dread pressing down on them. Animal.Cmoves and Sonny stood side by side, their shoulders almost touching. They looked at each other, a silent communication passing between them, a shared understanding born of countless battles and unbreakable loyalty. This was the final confrontation. They took a deep breath, planting their paws firmly on the ground, and braced themselves. The time for defense was over. It was time to end this once and for all. In perfect synchronization, they acted as one. Animal.Cmoves lowered his head, his collar glowing so brightly it cast the yard in an electric blue hue. Arcs of raw power leaped from the device, swirling around him like a miniature lightning storm. At the exact same moment, Sonny's body began to shine with an almost unbearable intensity, his pure white form becoming a living star. The blue electricity from Animal.Cmoves didn't strike out, but flowed inwards, drawn to Sonny's radiant energy. The two powers met, twisting and braiding together. Blue lightning wrapped around blinding light, creating a swirling vortex of pure, concentrated energy, an ultimate electrical surge, humming with a power far greater than the sum of its parts. With a shared, unspoken command, they unleashed it. The combined surge shot forward, a spear of white and blue that tore through the air, leaving a sizzling trail in its wake. It moved with impossible speed, aimed directly at the heart of the giant shadow. The collision was apocalyptic. There was no explosion, but a piercing, unearthly scream that seemed to tear at the very soul of the world. The shadow's form convulsed violently as the surge of light and electricity consumed it from the inside out. For a terrifying second, it grew even larger, its darkness fighting against the light. Before it began to disintegrate, its form dissolving into countless sparkling motes of dissipating energy, like embers from a dying fire. And then silence, where the terrifying shadow had stood. Only shimmering particles of light now floated gently in the air before winking out of existence. It was over. The energy drain was immense. Animal.Cmoves' legs gave out, and he collapsed onto the grass, his collar dimming to a soft, pulsing glow. A moment later, Sonny slumped. Down beside him, the brilliant light receding back into his body, leaving him looking tired but whole. They lay there, panting, muscles trembling with exhaustion. The threat was gone. Truly gone this time. Animal.Cmoves nudged his friend with his nose, and Sonny rested his head against the border collie's shoulder. They were drained, they were sore, but they were victorious, and in that shared moment of exhausted triumph, their bond, forged in light and lightning, felt stronger and more unbreakable than ever before. Thank you so much for watching our story unfold. If you enjoyed our adventure, please hit that like button and subscribe to see what happens next. We'll see you in the next video.